Welcome back, fight fans. Welcome back. Welcome back. Let's just dig right into it, and we have to break it down. Danny the Miracle Man Jacobs could potentially knock out Saul Canelo Alvarez. Let's just get into it and break it down. And recently in interviews, Danny Jacobs stated, "I think there's a chance of a knockout is high." Now, that's a direct quote about when asked about facing Canelo. He also stated, "I really respect Canelo. He didn't have to take this fight. I know he's willing to face anybody." And even Oscar De La Hoya stated that Canelo is going to fight the strongest puncher he's ever fought, including Triple G. This is a whole different beast. Now, this is one thing that I can agree with. I think that, Danny Jacobs and Triple G have very similar punching power, but what makes Danny Jacobs slightly stronger than Triple G in this aspect is the simple fact that Danny Jacobs, now that doesn't mean that Triple G, couldn't have got out the guys that Danny Jacobs didn't get out. Like, I think Triple G stops Luis Arias. I think he cuts off the ring and stops Luis Arias. I think he stops Sulecki. I think Triple G stops those guys. Just not necessarily because he's stronger, but because Triple G is better at cutting off the ring. Danny Jacobs is an elite level fighter. He's a top level boxer, but that's not his style to go in and cut off the ring on a guy and, just hunt him down like prey. That's Triple G style. And that's something that Triple G's shown to be effective with. And I think those guys can handle those shots from Triple G, because when Triple G hits you right on the button, you go to sleep. Now, the fact that this is a top level competition, I think Danny Jacobs may hit harder than Triple G in some aspects, because Triple G's going to hit you. Danny Jacobs is going to hit you with shots in different places that you don't see coming. And that's why Sulecki ended up getting dropped. That's why Luis Arias was in 100% survival mode for that entire fight after tasting Danny Jacobs' power, because he knew that he could have knocked either one of those guys out, and Danny Jacobs was content not to give up rounds. Danny Jacobs dropped Sergey Deverenchenko. So, styles do make fights. Survival mode does make a difference, and I do believe that Danny Jacobs can hit guys with shots that they don't see that can end up dropping them or stopping them. And I believe that this is the potential of a fight that's a 50-50 fight. You heard it on record first. I think Danny Jacobs, Canelo Alvarez is a 50-50 fight. Many people are ignoring that. Many people think it's, it's a lot farther apart. I just don't agree with it. I think that Danny Jacobs is a very, very difficult opponent. He's high level, he's elite, and not only does he have these skills and this power, but Danny Jacobs has the height advantage, has the reach advantage. So these are all things that he's going to have to deal with. If Canelo beats Danny Jacobs, there's no doubt about he should be number one pound for pound. Anybody that has any doubt or hate on Canelo, they need to wash that away, because once Canelo Alvarez get in this fight, and if he gets the win against a guy like Danny Jacobs, there should be no doubt. There should be nothing but respect and admiration. But trust me, this is not a given fight for Canelo. This is a hard fight, a 50-50 fight. This is a fight where Canelo Alvarez is going to have to fight on the back foot at time. This is a fight that Canelo Alvarez is going to have to make many adjustments. This is a tough fight for Canelo Alvarez. This is a fight that makes legacies, because this is no easy fight. Danny Jacobs doesn't have the hype and the fan base around him that Triple G had. So when people say, oh, this and that, no, Danny Jacobs is every bit of good of a fighter as Triple G, if not better. When you see Triple G fighting, a lot of people gave the Danny Jacobs Triple G fight to Jacobs, and I could see how you could edge Jacobs in that fight, but I could also see how you could edge Triple G. So I have no problem with no matter how you saw it either way. But Danny Jacobs is a tough fight. Danny Jacobs, Eddie Hearn, even stated that this is a tough fight. I see it as a 50-50 fight. I do as well, because Danny Jacobs has all this size, this power, and has skills. But Canelo Alvarez skills per se is just at a different level. Canelo Alvarez is going to come in the fight the faster man. Canelo Alvarez is going to come in the fight a better body puncher. And we know that Danny Jacobs has a tendency to get hit and be lazy on defense. Canelo Alvarez can keep his defense up the whole 12 rounds. So we know that Danny Jacobs is going to be faced with unique problems that he's never had, and he's going to face a body attack that he's never had. And we also know, on the other hand, Canelo Alvarez is going to face a level of boxer outside of Floyd Mayweather at 160 pounds that he's never faced. So this is going to be a problem for both guys. He's going to face the biggest and strongest guy that he's ever faced in his career in Danny Jacobs. So that's going to be a problem. The fact that Canelo was willing to take this fight, the fact that Canelo Alvarez was willing to unify so quickly and step in and face the best, shows that Canelo Alvarez cares about what people think, cares about being great, cares about being the best fighter in the world. And we must give him the credit should he be successful against Danny Jacobs. Don't overlook and say, oh, he just beat Danny. Danny Jacobs would beat 99.9% of every other fighter at 164 pounds, and 160 pounds, and at 154 pounds, and maybe even 168. Danny Jacobs is that special and talented of a fighter. Danny Jacobs is no joke. Now, can I see a knockout in this fight? I think it's possible, but I also think Canelo could knock out Danny Jacobs. Canelo Alvarez could go to the body, dick to the body against Jacobs and make his life a living hell. You see, Canelo Alvarez dug to Triple G's body and backed him up. You've seen him gasp for air at times. I could see Canelo Alvarez stopping or dropping Danny Jacobs in that fight at some point by digging to the body viciously if he sees the opening, if he has the opening. So this will be no easy fight for either fighter. It's a true 50-50 fight. The fight could go either way, but because of intangibles and certain levels of experience against top level opposition, I'll edge Canelo Alvarez for the victory. That's just my opinion, but by no means does that mean that Danny Jacobs can't win, because this is a tough fight. But will Danny Jacobs get the knockout? I don't think so. I think it goes to a decision, or he could get dropped, Canelo could get dropped, and then someone could get stopped. We simply don't know, but it's a very close fight, a 50-50 fight. Do not believe the hype. This fight is closer than you think. Once again, Unbiased as always. It's the IBFP. Please share, like, and you must absolutely subscribe.